What if silence isn't weakness, but the most powerful weapon in love and memory? Have you ever wondered why she can't seem to forget you, even when she tries to convince herself she has moved on? The truth is, absence doesn't erase feelings, it magnifies them, turning distance into an echo that refuses to fade. Silence is a weapon, one that when wielded correctly can shift the balance of power entirely. Most men assume that when they pull away, she simply moves on untouched and unbothered. But that is a grave miscalculation. She feels it not just the absence, but the void it creates, and that void left unfilled begins to haunt her in ways she never expected. At first, she plays the role of the unaffected. She wears the mask of indifference, convincing herself that she is unmoved, that she has won this battle of detachment. But behind closed doors, the weight of silence becomes unbearable. Here's the truth. Few men ever understand it is not the silence itself that makes her miss you. It is what follows the slow unraveling, the second guessing, the realization that what she thought was control is now slipping through her fingers. By the end of this video, you won't just understand how to handle this, you'll know how to master it, to make her feel your absence in a way that lingers, that shifts the dynamic, that forces her to confront what she tried to ignore. Stay with me, because what comes next will change everything. She starts randomly reaching out. At first, she tells herself she won't. She's above it, to compose, to detach, to give in. She convinces herself that reaching out will be weak, that ignoring you reinforces her sense of control, and so she waits, days pass, perhaps even weeks. She holds firm, believing silence is her power. But what she doesn't realize is that silence is not an ally. It is a mirror. And in that silence, her own thoughts begin to betray her. She wonders if you've noticed her absence, if you still think about her, if you miss her. But above all, she wonders if you've already moved on. This uncertainty gnaws at her. The very silence she thought would grant her the upper hand is now creeping into her mind, forcing her to second-guess every decision she made. And then it happens. Her fingers hover over your name, hesitation laced with an unspoken hope. But she cannot surrender outright pride. Forbids it instead. She reaches out in disguise. Hey, I just saw something that reminded me of you, seemingly innocent, casual, almost meaningless, yet its intent is anything. But it is a test, a calculated probe to gauge your response, a like on an old post, a brief reaction to a story, a comment that could pass as friendly, but is in reality a question unspoken. Do I still exist in your mind? She is searching for proof that she still has an effect on you, that her absence has left a mark. And if you grant her that validation too easily, she will retreat just as quickly, because now she has what she wanted, reassurance. But if you remain unmoved, if your response is indifferent, if you offer only cold brevity or silence, that is when the real discomfort sets in. She feels it now. Not just your absence, but the loss of control. What was once a game she orchestrated has now become a slow-growing realization. You are slipping away, and that thought alone is unbearable. This is how you know she truly misses you. Because if she didn't, she wouldn't feel the need to reach out at all. The moment she realizes she's no longer at the center of your attention, the dynamic shifts. What was once certainty is now doubt. And in that doubt, she begins to chase what she once believed was hers. She becomes more active on social media. She reached out subtly, but it didn't work. Perhaps you responded coldly, or maybe you ignored it altogether. Either way, she didn't get what she wanted, your attention, but silence is not something she can sit with for long. It lingers, whispering questions she doesn't want to answer. Has he moved on? Is he thinking about me? Does he still care? She won't ask you directly. That would mean admitting vulnerability, acknowledging that she feels your absence. Instead, she turns to something far more indirect, yet just as revealing. Suddenly, her presence on social media amplifies new posts, more frequent updates, an influx of carefully curated moments designed to send a message, not to the world, but to you. She wants you to notice. The selfies become more frequent each one. crafted to appear effortless, yet calculated to showcase her at her best. She's glowing, thriving, even without you. That's the illusion she wants to create. Then come the captions, seemingly harmless but loaded with subtext. Everything happens for a reason. Lessons learned, a vague nod to self-growth, to moving forward. But the message isn't for her audience, it's for you. And then the music lyrics about heartbreak, longing, and nostalgia, songs that she knows. You'll recognize words that carry meaning. Only you two would understand. It's not a direct confession, but it is a breadcrumb, a signal meant to make you wonder. Perhaps she goes further, posting a throwback picture from when you were together, slipping it in just enough to catch your eye, but not enough to make it obvious. Or she shares something about love loss and the lessons in between, knowing you'll connect the dots. And if that's not enough, she escalates a photo with another man, a story featuring someone new, not because she's moved on, but because she wants you to believe she has. The goal is not to replace you. It's to provoke you, to stir jealousy, to make you question whether she's truly let go, to force you into action. But here is where the Stoic approach matters most. You do nothing. Because the truth is, if she was truly over you, she wouldn't need to broadcast it. The very act of seeking attention is proof that she still craves yours. And the more you refuse to react, the more the weight of your silence grows. Every attempt to regain control. Every post, every cryptic message, every stage moment becomes an echo of her own frustration. Because now she's the one chasing. She asks about you through mutual friends. Her attempts to grab your attention have failed. You didn't react to her subtle messages. You didn't flinch at her social media theatrics. And now the silence, the very silence she thought would empower her, is working against her. She's restless, frustrated, and more than anything, she's curious, but she won't reach out directly. That would mean surrendering, admitting she still cares, and so she finds another way, one that allows her to keep her pride intact while still uncovering the answers she desperately seeks. She starts asking about you, not directly, not obviously. She phrases it casually, as if it's just an afterthought. Hey, how's he been? Is he doing all right? Maybe even has he been seeing anyone? But these are not idle questions. Beneath the surface, she's searching for something much deeper. She wants to know if you're struggling, if you've been asking about her, if you've been checking her social media, hoping for a sign, but most of all, she wants to know if you've moved on. And when she hears that you haven't reached out, that you are not showing signs of longing, sadness, or regret, that's when the discomfort sets in, because she expected something different. She assumed that you, like most men, would be waiting, watching, holding on. Instead, you are unmoved, unbothered, and that more than anything shakes her. Now doubt creeps in. Was I not as important to him as I thought? Did he already move on? Wait, what if he's found someone else? These thoughts don't just trouble her, they begin to consume her. And in that moment, the power shifts. She is no longer the one dictating the pace. She is no longer the one in control. Because now, for the first time, she is the one chasing clarity. She suddenly appears where you are. The questions have taken root. The uncertainty is growing. And now silence is no longer something she can tolerate. It's something she must escape. But she won't reach out directly. That would expose too much. It will make her vulnerable. And that is something she cannot afford. So she chooses another path. One that appears coincidental, but is anything. But suddenly she's there. The coffee shop you frequent. The gym you go to. The places that were once routine for you but never for her. Now she's showing up not once, not twice, but enough times to make you wonder. She plays it off well. Maybe she acts surprised to see you as if it's pure chance, or perhaps she doesn't acknowledge you at all, letting the moment linger, allowing the weight of her presence to settle in. But make no mistake, this is intentional. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's giving you just enough to break your focus, to stir something in you, and she's making sure she looks her best when she does it, because this isn't just about being seen, it's about being remembered. She wants you to notice, she wants you to question, she wants you to feel something, but here's what she doesn't expect. Indifference, because the moment you remain composed, unaffected, when you acknowledge her presence without reaction without giving her the response she seeks, that's when the power dynamic collapses. Her plan backfires. She was hoping to regain control, to plant doubt in your mind. Instead, she's the one left unsettled. Now she's no longer just showing up for you. She's showing up because she needs an answer. Because she can't figure out why you're not chasing. And that realization, that's what drives her deeper into the very feelings she was trying to suppress. She starts dropping hints that she regrets losing you. The silence has done its work. The moments of doubt have taken root. She has reached out subtly, sought validation through social media, even tried to orchestrate encounters, yet none of it has drawn the reaction she hoped for now. Something begins to shift the certainty she once had, that she could walk away without consequences fading. She thought she was in control, but instead, she finds herself confronting a question she never expected to ask. Did I make a mistake? She will never admit this outright. To do so would be an act of surrender, a loss of power, but the weight of regret is too heavy to carry alone, so she begins to offload it in the only way she can, through hints, carefully veiled admissions designed to draw you back in without exposing her vulnerability. A social media post about past mistakes, a cryptic quote about loss and lessons, learned a reference to something only you would understand. These aren't just passing thoughts, they are signals, calculated attempts to gauge your reaction. And if that doesn't work, she takes it a step further. A message appears casual on the surface, yet carrying the weight of everything left unsaid. I was just thinking about that time we or I missed talking to you. A breadcrumb meant to lead you back to her, but the clearest sign, an apology. No matter how subtle, I know I could have handled things better. I didn't appreciate you enough. I never wanted things to turn out this way. For her, these words are not easy to say. They mean something. They mean she has reached the point where pride is no longer enough to protect her. But here's where your power lies, in what you choose to do next. Because now the decision is no longer hers, it's yours. You could respond, give her the closure she seeks, ease her uncertainty, or you could let it linger, allow her to sit with the realization that she lost something valuable. And when a woman truly understands that she has lost something she cannot replace, she never forgets it. Final thoughts. By now, you understand the deeper psychology at play. Silence, when used correctly, is not passive, it is strategic. It forces reflection, shifts the balance of power, and reveals the truth hidden beneath words. So stay in control, remain unbothered. Let her actions, not her words, show you where she stands, because when a woman truly misses you, you won't have to wonder. Her behavior will tell you everything. She becomes overly emotional or defensive. The weight of silence has settled in the distractions she created. Social media, casual check-ins, even orchestrated encounters have failed to bring her the relief she sought. The certainty she once had is now fractured, and something within her begins to shift. At first, she maintained the illusion of strength. She told herself that walking away was the right choice, that she was unaffected, that this was simply another chapter closing. She convinced herself that she was above emotion, above regret. But emotions do not operate on logic. She may have chosen to ignore the impact of your absence, but she cannot escape it. And the deeper her attachment to you was, the stronger her reaction becomes when she realizes that control is slipping from her grasp. At first, it manifests subtly, an extra effort to appear unbothered, an exaggerated display of happiness. She surrounds herself with people, posts glimpses of a life that seems fuller, brighter. She smiles wider, laughs louder, makes sure the world sees her as thriving. But beneath that curated image, a storm is forming soon. The cracks appear. She grows restless, irritable. The same confidence she once projected now wavers under the weight of what she refuses to acknowledge. She begins to lash out, not at you, but at the people around her. Small inconveniences trigger outsized reactions she argues over trivial matters, distances herself from those who see through the act. And when she is alone, the silence, the very thing she once used as a weapon, becomes unbearable. And if fate or circumstance brings you into the same space, you will see it in her. eyes, the tension in her posture, the forced indifference, the carefully measured words. She may act distant, even hostile, as if your presence disrupts her equilibrium. This is where most men misinterpret the signs. They assume her coldness means she has moved on, that she feels nothing, that she no longer cares, but indifference. Does not look like this. A woman who has truly moved on feels no need to prove it. She does not seek validation through distance, nor does she mask emotion behind forced detachment. What you are witnessing is not apathy, it is conflict, a war, between pride and longing, between the image she upholds and the emotions she cannot suppress. And here is where your strength is tested, because while she spirals between reaction and restraint, you remain still center detached, not from emotion, but from the need for validation. This is the moment where the power dynamic shifts completely. She is losing control not just of the situation, but of herself. And the more she fights against it, the deeper she falls into the very emotions she once believed she could escape. She starts reappearing in places you used to go. The emotional conflict within her is growing. She has tried subtle messages. She has amplified her presence on social media. She has sought reassurance through mutual friends. But none of it has brought her the certainty she craves. None of it has drawn you back into her orbit. And now the pull of nostalgia, the need to feel close to something she can no longer have, begins to take over. So she starts showing up, not because she needs to be there, not because it was ever part of her routine, but because she knows it was part of yours. The coffee shop you always visited, the gym you go to, the places that were once insignificant to her but now hold a strange importance. She appears in all of them. At first, it might seem coincidental, a passing moment of curiosity, but as the pattern continues, it becomes evident she is searching for something. She is trying to recreate moments that have already slipped through her fingers, and she makes sure she looks her best while doing it. Not for the world, but for you. Her presence alone is meant to stir something in you, to disrupt your sense of detachment. She carries herself as if she's never been happier, as if life has been kind to her in your absence. But beneath the surface, her eyes scan for a reaction, a glance, a pause, any small indication that her presence still affects you. Because this isn't about coincidence, it's about control. She wants to know that she still has influence over you, that even now, with time and distance between you, her presence can still pull at something deep within you. And this is where your response matters most. If you react, if you engage, if you acknowledge her beyond what is necessary, you hand her exactly what she wants. Prove that she still lingers in your mind, but if you remain composed, if you treat her presence with the same neutrality as any other passing stranger, the weight of her own actions will begin to settle upon her. She is the one who sought you out. She is the one who disrupted her own path to cross yours again. And now the question that she once expected you to ask, does she still think about me, has reversed. Now it is her asking, why is he so unaffected? And in that uncertainty, the power shifts once again. She starts dropping hints that she's unhappy. She thought she could move on. She believed that time and distractions would erase the presence you once had in her life. And for a while, she convinced herself that the silence meant strength, that by not reaching out, she was proving something. But silence does not erase feelings, it magnifies them. At first, she plays the part well. She posts pictures with friends, smiling, surrounded by laughter. She creates the illusion of someone thriving, someone untouched by the past. Yet, as time passes, the cracks begin to show. Her posts change subtly at first. A song lyric drenched in melancholy lingers, just long enough for you to notice. A quote about loss, regret, or missed chances appears on her feed. She might even resurface an old photo, one that holds a meaning only the two of you would recognize. She does not explain it. She does not tag you, but she knows you will see it. This is not a declaration. It is a test. She wants to know if you are still watching, if her absence has left a mark on you as much as yours has on her. She doesn't want to break the silence first. She wants you to, because if you do, she can tell herself that it was always you who couldn't let go. But this is where true discipline matters. The longer you hold your ground, the clearer the reality becomes. She is not just missing you. She is realizing that she miscalculated. She assumed you would break, she assumed you would always have control, but now faced with the weight of her own choices, she stands at a crossroads to swallow her pride and admit what she feels, or to let you slip away forever. And in that moment, the power is no longer her. It is yours. She tries to make you jealous. She has exhausted all other avenues: subtle messages, social media games, strategic encounters, emotional hints cloaked in nostalgia. Yet none of it has broken your composure. None of it has drawn you back into her orbit. And now, frustration sets in. This is not how she expected things to go in her mind. You were supposed to notice, you were supposed to react to chase, but instead, you remain still unmoved by the chaos she is trying to stir. So she escalates. She introduces the idea of another man, not because she has moved on, but because she wants you to believe she has a picture surfaces. Her smiling next to someone new, a carefully placed comment in a mutual conversation, just loud enough to reach your ears, a display of flirtation, deliberately public designed to plant a seed of doubt in your mind. It is not about him, it is about you. She wants to see if you will break, if you will react, if jealousy will push you to act impulsively, to remind her that she still holds a place in your mind. But here is the truth. A woman who has truly moved on does not need to prove it. If she were genuinely free from attachment, she would not feel the need to orchestrate these moments. She would not need an audience. She would not need to ensure that you saw it. This is not closure. It is manipulation. And the worst thing you could do, give her what she wants. Show her that she still has power over you. The moment you react, whether through anger, jealousy, or confrontation, you validate her tactics. You confirm that she still occupies space in your thoughts. But if you remain composed, if you refuse to play the game, something shifts. She expected to control the narrative. Instead, she is left questioning herself, wondering why you haven't reacted, wondering if her presence still matters. And as doubt creeps in, the tables turn, because now she is the one chasing certainty. She finally breaks down and reaches out. She has tried everything: indirect messages, social media tactics, orchestrated encounters, even the calculated use of jealousy. Yet none of it has shaken you. None of it has drawn you back into her frame. And now she's left with only one option, the one thing she swore she would never do. She reaches out. At first, it will appear casual, almost meaningless. A simple message, "Hey, how have you been?" or "Just saw something that reminded me of you." She might even send a random text, pretending it was accidental, as if her fingers betrayed her intentions. But make no mistake, this is not coincidence. This is not a casual check-in. This is a culmination of everything she has been feeling. The thoughts she has tried to suppress, the strategies she has deployed, the pride she has held on to. None of it has given her what she wanted. And so, despite her best efforts, she breaks the silence herself. Because at this point, she cannot escape it. She has spent more time thinking about you than she is willing to admit. The weight of uncertainty, of not knowing where you stand, has become too much. But this is where your response determines everything. Most men see this as a victory assigned to re-engage, to validate her feelings, and fall back into her world. But a man who understands control, who understands discipline, does not act on impulse. Instead, he remains steady. He does not rush to reply. He does not overextend himself. He does not reward uncertainty with immediate validation, because he knows this truth. The moment she reaches out, the power shifts entirely. She now finds herself in unfamiliar territory. The one who once held the control is now seeking clarity. The one who created distance is now trying to bridge it. And that uncertainty, the very thing she once used to manipulate, is now working against her. The question is no longer, will you ever hear from her again? The question is now hers to bear. What if he doesn't respond? And that thought alone is what makes her miss you more than she ever expected. She starts comparing every man to you. She told herself she was ready to move forward, to start fresh, to find something new. So she does what many do in an attempt to fill the void. She steps back into the dating world. She downloads the Abs agrees to dinners, engages in conversations with men who seem at least on the surface to be everything she should want, but something is off. At first, she pushes the feeling aside, reassuring herself that it's just part of the process. She reminds herself that getting to know someone takes time, that perhaps she's overanalyzing. Maybe I just need to give this guy a chance. Maybe I'm being too picky. Maybe I just miss having someone, not necessarily him, but the truth refuses to be ignored as the conversations unfold, as the interactions play out. She begins to notice something, an absence. His humor isn't quite like yours. The way he speaks, the way he listens, the way he understands her, none of it feels the same. The conversations feel forced, the moments lack depth, the connection feels distant. And then the realization sets in. It's not just that this man is different. She is different when she was with you. She felt something she can't seem to replicate, a sense of ease, a connection that didn't need effort to feel real, an emotional weight that made her feel something deeper than just passing, attraction. And now every new interaction only magnifies what she has lost. She replays old memories, not out of choice, but because they surface uninvited. She finds herself drawn back to moments she thought she had left behind, the way you made her laugh, the way you understood her without her needing to explain, the way she felt when she was with you and the way she feels now. And for the first time, she stopped searching for someone new because now she understands what she never fully grasped before. You were never just an option. You were irreplaceable. She becomes more nostalgic than ever. At first, she tried to move forward. She occupied her time, surrounded herself with distractions, convinced herself that this was simply another chapter closing. But something unexpected begins to happen. The past, the one she thought she had left behind, starts to resurface, and this time she cannot escape it. She finds herself scrolling through old photos, lingering on moments she once took for granted. She replays videos not just to see you, but to feel something that now seems distant. Inside jokes, once shared effortlessly, now echo in her mind as fragments of a connection she no longer has. This is the power of absence. Suddenly, everything reminds her of you. A song she never paid attention to before now carries a weight she can't ignore. A certain smell pulls her back into memories she thought had faded. She walks past a place you once shared, and for a moment, it's as if time collapses, leaving her face to face with what she lost. At first, she resists. She tells herself it's just a phase, a moment of weakness. But nostalgia does not work that way. The more she fights it, stronger it grows. And then something shifts. She no longer just remembers you, she begins to associate you with something more, with a version of herself that felt alive, understood, connected. She realizes that it was not just the memories she cherished, but the way she felt in them, and now a new fear sets in. It is no longer just about missing you. It is about something far greater, the realization that she may never find that feeling again. And when that thought becomes unbearable, reaching out is no longer a choice. It is inevitable by now. You understand the deeper psychology of absence, silence, and control. When you detach, when you refuse to chase, when you let actions, not words, reveal the truth, the dynamic shifts entirely. She may have convinced herself that she could walk away unaffected, but reality does not align with expectation. The more she tries to suppress the past, the more it resurfaces, the more she resists, the stronger its hold becomes, and in the end, the real question is not whether she will miss you, but how deeply she will feel your absence. If this video gave you clarity, if it reinforced what you already sensed but needed to fully understand, take a moment to show your support. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel, because mastering control in your relationships, your mind, and in your life is not a one-time lesson. It is a discipline. And if you want to take this even further to understand exactly how to make her miss you in ways she never expected, then watch the next video on your screen now.